it's no longer news that thousands of Ghanaians took to the streets sometime last week demanding that their government begin the immediate extradition of Nigerians living in that country. The bone of contention, according to several placards caught on video being brandished by the protesters, included Nigerians becoming masterminds of kidnappings and ritual killing in Ghana, several other ways through which they have progressively become a rising nuisance to Ghanaian society, as well as appropriation of economic opportunities that should ordinarily be at the disposal of the country's citizens. The intervention from the Nigerian government was almost immediate after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu dispatched a high-powered delegation to Accra led by Minister of State Ambassador Bianca Ojukwu to interface with the Ghanaian authorities and try to find a resolution. Last Friday, Ghanaian President John Mahama met with the Nigerian team and gave his commitment to protecting Nigerians going forward. Well, for greater introspection on this matter, we're now being joined from our Arise Abuja studio by Abike Dabiri-Erewa, the chairperson of Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning. Nice to be with you this morning. Oji and Adeswa, good morning.
And Steve Ayorinde is here with us.
Good morning. Steve Ayorinde is saying hi to you, Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Erewa.
Fantastic. Well,
how are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us on the morning show. As you heard in my introduction, the incident that occurred sometime last week with Ghanaians asking for Nigerians to be expelled from Ghana. I mean, we know that the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Ojukwu, has met with the Ghanaian officials and, of course, the President as well, President of Ghana, John Mahama. What is now the role of NiDCOM in this specific diplomatic engagement, and how is the Commission collaborating with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for resolution on this matter?
Well, NiDCOM is part of Foreign Affairs. NiDCOM is the newest baby under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So, as you said in your report, just like many other situations, the ministry, in fact, the president immediately intervened, and we're glad that even before that there was calm in Ghana. And like I had said on several issues, the Senate intervened. We spoke with our people. The first thing was for me to call our people in Ghana. In fact, when I was calling them about what was going on, they were like, look, there's calm here. It's okay. One person, one has an IRA or something, did that, incited people. And we told our brothers and sisters in Ghana, do not respond. By the time you are responding, you are making the situation worse. And I'm glad that Nigerians stayed calm as we advised them. So we remained in touch with them, and the minister's intervention on the orders of Mr. President went very, very well. And, for a long time, we've been having skirmishes here and there, not anything really deep. But as you said in your intro, those accusations are actually not true. One person may do something wrong, but don't generalize and say the whole country. But even before the president's intervention through the minister, the Inspector General of Police in Ghana had actually called the guy for questioning and interviewed him based on things he had even been doing in the past. And we keep appealing to Nigerians, just remain calm no matter what happens. And we're glad that the Ghana thing, and I keep saying the Ghanaian government, or even the generality of Ghanaians, do not have that opinion or that vision about Nigerians in Ghana. So I'm glad the way the whole thing went. But we keep monitoring the situation, and we go to Ghana from time to time, meet with our people. There's so much we're doing, and they are doing very, very well in Ghana. But at the same time, we appeal to Nigerians, as the president always appeals to them, anywhere you are in the world, obey the laws of that country. But we as a country will also ensure that you do not suffer for a crime you don't commit. So we're glad the way the whole thing went. I will keep monitoring the situation.
All right. Thanks, Mrs. Dabiri-Erewa, for that introductory clarifications. But then it's also important to find out, I'm not sure if you were part of the delegation to Ghana, but of course I know that you are never far from Ghana and the Nigerian communities there. But then the allegations against our people were quite weighty. Armed robbery, violence, kidnapping, etc. I like the fact that you say that they're not true, and that Hassan Ayari, was called in by the Inspector General of Police in Ghana. But there was also another gentleman politician in Accra who also went on air, had an interview and made similar allegations, almost practically targeting a certain section of Nigeria, people from a certain section of Nigeria. You and I know, Mrs. Dabiri-Erewa, that this is not the first time that you'll be hearing things like that. My question to you is, are we distilling what the issues are and what the complaints tend to be, not just in Ghana, but in a few other places where people tend to think that maybe there is overdue from some of our brothers and sisters, who are in the diaspora, maybe in communities in Africa and elsewhere. What your people, my people, will call asheju. If that is the fact, what are we doing to speak, truthfully to ourselves, just to ensure that a few people do not continue to give us a bad name abroad?
Well, thank you very much. If you followed, my job as in this as NiDCOM, or even before NiDCOM as SSA, every time, in fact, there was a time when we did something happened in the UAE where 4 Nigerians actually went to rob a bank daytime. I came out, called out their names, and I was accused of, it's because they come from a certain tribe. And I said, no, crime does not have federal character. If you commit a crime, you are in Nigeria, and it doesn't matter where you come from. However, you and I, we all have a role to play. And that's why we say it's about our attitude, our behavior. But however, look, a few Nigerians probably did one thing or the other. Punish them, penalize them, show them to the world. Let's know who they are. But it is not fair to just generalize and say Nigerians all over the world. Yes, look, in India, something happened in Nigeria, and we saw him. There's a video. There were issues with the resident status and all that, and the police went to raid them, and he came on the streets and said, I'm a Nigerian, I'm a vampire, I suck blood. And they, of course, and you're not calling us, see what they're doing to us. You can't be the aggressor and claim to be the victim. So we've handled that all the time. But what I'm saying is that one person cannot commit a crime that you say everybody. Yes, there may be asheju, as you said, and we know that happens a few times. But if one person does that, you can't judge a million people with that. So what we keep saying is that person, okay, Ghana accused them, or when you came, we're saying kidnapping has never happened before, armed robbery has never happened before. Arrest those people. Let us know them. And I've been saying that when people commit these crimes abroad, when they're coming back home, they must be interrogated by immigration. There have been cases where crimes were committed, they were sent back, and they just walked away. So what we're saying is that no matter the circumstances, we cannot generalize. Even when you say one ethnic tribe, we cannot say everybody from that tribe. However, there are excesses on the part of some of our people, but one bad apple should not judge the whole bunch. The bad should not spoil the good, because the good are more than the bad. So in every country where that happens, discipline them. Let them pay the penalty. Let them face whatever consequences. And I think that should be the message in terms of that situation and any other situation that affects a Nigerian who has committed a crime anywhere in the world.
Thank you very much. Now, you've given us an example of someone saying, I'm a Nigerian, I'm a vampire, which is, as you said, ridiculous behavior. But I also wanted to ask you about the Kemi Badenoch, who is obviously a leader in the UK, the head of the Conservative Party, who says that she no longer identifies as a Nigerian. How difficult is it when trying to spread Nigeria's message in the diaspora, when individuals, even Kemi herself, say they might not identify as Nigerians? Do you think that she is a positive representation of what a Nigerian woman should be, particularly one who rises through the ranks?
I think you are giving her too much attention and too much credit. There are millions of Nigerians in the UK doing extremely well. So if she doesn't want to be a Nigerian, that is our problem. It's not an issue I even want to do. I've spoken about, I've called her out a few times and said, listen, if you're not proud of your Nigerianness, that is your problem. I don't think it's something, you should see what Nigerians in the UK themselves are saying. That, listen, you don't, that's a personal choice. And it doesn't reflect anything. In the same vein, we have the footballer, who is also British Nigerian, sorry, her name escaped my mind, British Nigerian, who chose to play for Nigeria. So I don't think we should pay much attention to people. Pardon?
Ashley Plumtree, the footballer.
Yes, yes, yes. Look at her. We're proud of her. We're proud of many. We have mayors in the UK. In fact, Nigerians are winning more elections all over the world. Nigerian Americans, Nigerian British, Nigerian Canadian. So why pay attention on one person? That is what she wants to do. That's her personal decision. It doesn't reflect anything. And she has her own, some things may be wrong with her past or something. I don't know, but that is our personal decision. That is our personal choice. But it means nothing to me. And it should not mean anything to any one of us.
All right. I mean, I'd like for us to go back on the protests and the conversations that have come out of that. Protest in Ghana. Now, we saw a display of placards with messages that, like Steve has highlighted, this specific ethnic group, which is the Igbo. We saw placards with inscriptions like, our children are going missing because of the Igbos. I'd like to know how your commission is actually addressing this specific ethnically charged narratives and ensuring that all Nigerians, regardless of their ethnicity, are protected. How also is NiDCOM working with that Nigerian community, because we know the individual that is involved with this conversation. How are you communicating with the community leaders to address the root cause of this sort of resentment? And there are also reports that, the Nigerian Commission is not taking decisive action towards dealing with these individuals. I'd like to know how you respond to such criticism, Mrs.
Which
Abike.
Nigerian Commission? Nigerian High Commission?
Well, Nigerian High Commission. Nigerian High Commission in Ghana. No, Nigerian High Commission in Ghana. Okay. Yes, in Ghana.
You see, again, we are generalizing. Don't forget that I've called people out. We have names, I read out the names, and I've said that these so-called Nigerians, let us know them. Let us know them. Let them be dealt with. They can't be anonymous. So it's the responsibility of the host country, which even the Inspector General of Police of Ghana said, look, I don't want to say one tribe. Let us know them. We are not going to go there and beg for them. When you say the Nigeria Commission in Ghana, the Nigeria Commission in Ghana has been doing a lot, actually. Look, I've gone to Ghana. I can't remember how many times I've gone to Ghana. If you remember when we had cases of trafficking, we went to Ghana and brought back those girls. And we thank Her Excellency, Mrs. Olurabi, who helped us with transportation, bus and all that. And we've been doing that on a regular basis, and it has gone down. And the people behind that have been arrested. Many Nigerians and a few Ghanaians were involved in the trafficking. It's still going on, but not as much as in the past. So we dealt with headlong. If you say kidnapping, arrest them, jail them, lock them up. Again, when I mention these things, even me, sometimes this tribe you're talking about, we say, is it because it's us? No, like I said, crime has no federal character. In Indonesia, we had 21 Nigerians on death row. We went to the Indonesia prison and we spoke to them and we begged them, and they said, our law is our law. 4 were executed and they are still, and then 1 was saved through the intervention of Barrister Emmanuel, but they are still there. But you know what, when we went into that prison, I've said it before and I'll say it again, 21 of them, 20 were from one state in the southeast. 20. The other one was from Edo State. But at the same time, that does not mean you should generalize and say everybody in that state is a criminal. And the governor of that state has tackled the issue, even went on air and said, listen, if you do all these rituals and everything, is going to stop it. And they were attacking him. So really, it's about us as a people. If you're living there as a Nigerian and you see this happen, you have to call the person out. I particularly went, again in South Africa, I was with a guest of the authorities. We stayed in one particular place. We were there for 4 hours and they said to me, you're going to see what will happen. And I saw what happened. I was embarrassed. But at the same time, those people have been arrested and they've been penalized. They were into drugs. I was embarrassed actually to see my brothers, come. I mean, I can't even describe the situation. So, and then when you say one ethnic group, there are also in Libya, we have many that are there. They want to come back home, but we've been telling them, stop going to Libya. What are you looking for? Don't tell me you don't know that once you get to Libya, you're going to be locked up. But they are still going. There are different ethnic groups. If you go to some streets in some parts of West Africa, you will see young girls being being dragged into prostitution. So these are issues we need to deal with. However, there are the very good stories. And here's the problem. It's only the bad stories that trend. What about those thousands of Nigerians that are developing those countries? What about those thousands of Nigerians that if they leave some countries today, it will affect them? Those are the stories we celebrate. However, in the media, it's only bad news that trends and is trafficked. If in Ghana you had 10,000 people come out and say Nigerians are the best, nobody will talk about it. So I think that's just the way it is. Bad news travels fast. However, I've been saying it, the president says it, be of good behavior. When we went to St. Lucia, the president was so impressed. The Nigerians there, even the prime minister was the first to commend them. And we're so happy about that. So there are a few bad eggs here and there, but traditional rulers, religious institutions, and that is happening in Ghana. When we went there the last time, we had a meeting with traditional rulers, community leaders, and even the Nigerians themselves within their community are saying that we will call you out, we'll deal with you. So the Nigerians themselves in those communities should ensure that nobody spoils your name because it will affect everybody at the end of the day. And the Nigerian High Commission, I have to tell you that I don't think what you said was right, that they are not decisive. They can't do more than they're doing. They even work with the Ghanaian authorities when these people are arrested to ensure that they are penalized for what they did. So again, do not generalize. Even with one particular ethnic tribe, we cannot generalize.
All right. Can you bring us up to speed on what is happening in the CAR, Central African Republic, where some Nigerians are crying out and talking about the fact that they have been abandoned and things like that? I know that you have addressed some aspects of what is happening there, but can you bring us to speed on what the situation is at the moment? And I would like you to link it to what you have described that is happening in Libya. As a matter of fact, I like the example of Libya, given that Nigerians, particularly the young Nigerians, cannot claim not to know the situation out there. It looks to me like is advocacy actually working, or is it a question of hard times at home? We rather find solace elsewhere and go and play out on our luck. You mentioned Libya. You mentioned people who have been trafficked. I was in Ouagadougou earlier this year, and I know what I saw in terms of young Nigerian girls speaking pidgin French who have been trafficked there and in prostitution. Are we ensuring that those who are perpetrating these acts are being brought to justice? We are not hearing of arrests. We are not hearing of, going after those who, the madams and those who are making them swear, who are making them sell homes and, and cars in Nigeria just to go and walk, their boats off in foreign lands. What are we doing to ensure that this is not the story that we keep repeating year in, year out? Madam Abike Dabiri.
Thank you, Augustive. It was a long question. CAR, let's start with CAR.
Yes.
Again, Mr. President has immediately, he too saw the video, and he is on top of the situation, and he has actually given an order that those guys should be returned home. So the process is on for them to come back. And they are quite a number, so the process is on to get them back. But here's the thing. The agent has been identified, and is probably going to say, oh, they wanted a job and I gave them a job. But you see, those guys paid to be where they went to. So we should know that somebody is making money. An agent is making money. A trafficker is making money. In terms of prosecution, NAPTIP is in charge of arresting these traffickers, these so-called agents, and ensuring that they get justice. And the head of NAPTIP, we were at a function just a few days ago. She has assured that this person will be has been identified, will be arrested and all that. And then I believe that DSS, all security agencies should be involved in this case. Let this be an example to others. So I'm hoping that something good will come out of what has happened in CRA, to have somebody being held responsible for what happened to them. But if there are no penalties for bad behavior, it's going to continue to happen. As long as traffickers are walking about freely, trafficking will never stop. So that is the root cause. And traffickers need to be not just arrested, let us parade them. I've said this several times, let us see them the way you see criminals. Let us see them. Because it's really a very, very dangerous crime. Yes. So that is that. In terms of Libya, the same thing. Look, there's a case I'm dealing with. Look, we went into Libya detention centers. We brought them out. Chartered planes. They came back. And we warned. You can't tell me people don't know. Then under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, almost 6,000 have been brought back. No, don't tell me it's because the country is bad. But where you're going to, you're likely to die. If you don't die, you can't come back a better person. And they know. They hear stories. They see stories. We've even shown examples of those who have returned and those who wanted to go, realized that they shouldn't go, and what has happened to them. I keep telling the story of Gift, who came back from Libya with just a few trading in she said she wanted to bake. Today she's one of the best people in the culinary world, not just in Benin, but she's extended to other parts of Nigeria. So government has its own role. Create an enabling environment where jobs will thrive. And Mr. President is doing just that. Look at what was launched recently that will go around all wards in Nigeria. So it's there. But you see, I think this issue goes beyond that. Look, I'll tell you about Professor Jibono. He went through the desert some years back, many years ago. So he met a lot of them on a boat. And he said to them, do you know that out of 100 of you, maybe only one can survive? You know what they all said? That one will be me. And that is the mindset. But see, that was about 20 years ago. In today's world, none may survive. And even if you survive, your life will be so miserable that you wish you never did it. So advocacy, yes, advocacy. But I don't think anybody in Nigeria today would tell me that they don't know what is going on in Libya and other parts of the world, or as we've been bringing back girls, young girls below 16 from Ghana, from parts of Mali. There are many you don't even see that is not talked about. From these places, they come in constantly. You don't even have to report them. You see those that are reported are the ones you see. So really, I think it's about the mindset. One of those who came back said to me, and then there's always family connection. That's why it becomes a bit more difficult. There's always a family member, a relative that introduces to somebody who introduces it to somebody. I think that's why it's a bit more difficult. And then they paint a picture that is not true. So it's all government, all citizens, everybody needs to just, each one teach one. Let the next person know. My driver saved a woman whose child was going to be trafficked. He saw her talking about raising 40,000 naira for her daughter to go, and he heard Libya, and it's like, and he mentioned some, and he said, haven't you heard everything on radio? And I said she heard, but she's going to try it anyway. But he convinced her, and she didn't do it. So it's a job for all society, not just one person to do, because families are involved, uncles, aunties are involved, and that is why it's a bit more difficult, because you want to trust that uncle or that auntie, but it turns out they're actually selling you into poverty, and the agents, the traffickers are making money. Traffickers, arrest them. Let us see them. I think that is what I've been discussing with NAPTIP, and NAPTIP has been arresting a lot of people, a lot of them. But let's see them, name and shame them. But this particular CAR guy, we have to know the guy behind it.
Thank you. Now, we've spoken about trafficking, which is a huge problem that Nigerians are facing. And, I wonder, what do you think causes this desperation? Is it a cultural thing? Is it just the belief that people believe that they're unique and therefore, as you said, they'll be the one to survive this journey? Like, how bad can things be for people to be so desperate to go to Libya or, as you said, the DRC or war-torn areas to go there to be domestic staff? And also, I want to ask, very importantly, because Nigeria currently doesn't have any ambassadors, does this make your job in NiDCOM more difficult?
No, because the embassies are running, the embassies are functioning. Ambassador Bianca was in Ghana. We have an acting high commissioner there, and they're all, They're all very experienced foreign affairs officers. So no. Although the ambassadors, I mean, they will be there. According, the minister has explained all about that, but no, because there are people to talk to. We have HOCs and all that, acting ambassadors in every embassy in Nigeria. So, not that. But in the issue of trafficking, what did you say again? You see, that's part of the thing. Now, we've been talking for 15 minutes only about one aspect of my job as NiDCOM, you know, trafficking and all that is there. But all this is a multi-sectoral collaboration. NAPTIP, NEMA, Refugee Commission, Humanitarian Affairs Ministry, Foreign Affairs Ministry. There's a multi-agency collaboration for Nigerians that are in trouble when they have to come back, war situations and all that. So there's multi-agency collaboration, which has been on for 2-3 years now, I guess. So that is that. But most importantly is that it's not about, well, you see, I've met a lot of them. I even mentor a few of them. They're on my mentoring platform. And it's really not, it's more about mindset. If your uncle comes to you, no matter what you have heard, you want to believe him. It's more dangerous because there's a family member. And can I tell you something? They are paying. So you say desperation, but you're paying about 1.5 million to go to that place. All those people going, either somebody pays for them or they look for money and pay for themselves. There's a guy who was into transportation business who sold his trucks and said he was going to Europe. So it's a mindset. It's, no matter everything you do, you can't stop migration, legal or illegal, but you can reduce irregular migration through, you know, a lot of programs and activities and a lot of what we are doing. So really, I think it's more of a mindset than what you call desperation. They're desperation, but somebody, don't forget that they're not just packing their bags, they're going on a plane. Somebody has collected, they paid somebody who promised them that don't worry, see this house now, you're going to build it. See that car, you're going to buy it. So you pay him. When you get there, you realize that, oh my God, I've been sold into slavery. So the media, you have a role to play. You can run, you know, free ads on your program to help combat trafficking, to help combat irregular migration. So like I said, it's all government, all society issue. It's about all of us saving that next person that will fall into the hands of a wicked agent or a wicked trafficker.
Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Erewa, I'd like to really...
Can we talk about the good things?
Thank you. No, yes, we'll talk about the good things.
Wait, before you really... No.
I'm trying to praise you. I'm trying to thank you for all the good work that you're doing so far. Did you want to say something? No, because you have just reeled out all of the things that you've done. And your high performance of NiDCOM, and even the fact that you have recently lamented about poor funding of NiDCOM, which I'll come to in a bit. But I'd like for you to answer this question. We know that this anti-Nigerian sentiment in Ghana is not an isolated incident. There have been, similar issues in other countries with, xenophobic attacks against Nigerians in other African countries like South Africa. Now, the protest in Ghana, it seems to be rooted in a mix of economic, obviously, social grievances with allegations of criminal activities and unfair business practices by some Nigerians. But there's also the issue of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center's $1 million levy for foreign investors. Now, is NiDCOM engaging with the Ghanaian government on such policies that, appear to target Nigerian businesses and hinder economic integration within ECOWAS and even beyond?
Well, of course we did, and we got a resolution. I don't know whether it's back again. Well, that took us back and forth with the Minister of Trade, Industry, Trade and Investment, and the Minister and everybody. So we went back and forth, but a resolution was reached. And I hope that is still on. I haven't heard latest complaints about that. And we went to them and said, and they claimed that, it's not just Africans, it's just Nigerians, it's Africans and the Chinese and everybody. We are the majority. So, like I said, the issue of Ghana will be going back and forth. When something happens, it's just next door to us and we're neighbors. But what I'm still saying is that, okay, we have to tell ourselves the truth, which I do all the time. But when I say it, they come and say, I found somebody, one chap from one of the ethnic tribes you're talking about, persistently calls me a bigot. And I reply him, I reply them on social media that you don't know what you're talking about. You see, and here's the thing, it's going to affect every one of us. It's going to affect every one of us. So whether it's, look at the case I just told you about in India. and then somebody comes and says, oh, look at what they're doing to a family and this and that. It's not about government now, and that's the key point. It's not about government. It's about our behavior, our composure. I was with the there's a reputation group being put in place by the NIPR. We had a deep conversation. How do we manage our reputation? Okay, we just had the Diaspora Day, okay? And in fact, we had more than we expected. We had almost 30 African Americans who came to Nigeria for the first time. And you know what they were saying? One of them got up and said, why is this not the story we're hearing? I said, America is not telling your story. The world is not telling your story. We came here, we don't want to leave. So, number one, that there's the media, I blame the media, one, because the media are the ones that will, give the perception that they want. But we as Nigerians, we need to tell ourselves that we are the best. Let's celebrate us, and that is what we do at the Diaspora Commission. And when we started, some said, why are you celebrating them? Are you the one that made them? But today, you do something abroad, they are eager to tell us, look at what we have achieved. And we've been doing that, and it's reverberating. But I'll tell you something, these bad ones are happening, but with what I'm saying, our narrative is changing all over the world. Thanks to our people excelling everywhere and showcasing it. Thanks to our music, our arts, our culture. People are beginning to see who the Nigerian is, and it has to be intentional. For the past 6 years, we go around the world with no funding to ensure that we meet our people, talk to them, and we're seeing the results. And it's going to continue to grow. But you and I have a role to play. Somebody goes on air, tears your passport, then you clap for the person on social media. As you're clapping, you're bringing that yourself. And that's the message we take around. So this is not about government. It's about how we behave, our attitude, our behavior, our composure. But our message is always that one person, drag him out, pull him out. Let's know who he or she is, but I'm glad it's more of he than she. Let's know who that person is, and then let's call that person out. Do not condemn me because I carry a green passport, because one person did that. But in many instances, like a case happened in one of these islands not too long ago, immediately we intervened, and the people were released, because in that case, it was truly because they were carrying a green passport. And we intervened, and they got them out, and we told them, you have to apologize for what you did. So really, let's talk to ourselves. How we behave, how we comport ourselves, how we carry ourselves goes a long way in how we are perceived and seen. And that is the best way to change the narrative. Government will do his own bit. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing his own bit. It's not just about him, it's about all of us to ensure that we carry on positively about Nigeria. And then the media. If you go on social media and condemn okay, I'll give you one more story. Again, African Americans. This lady said, I want to come and mark my birthday in Nigeria. A Nigerian in the US told her, don't go. You'll be kidnapped. She said, I'm going anyway. I'm going home. I've done my DNA and I'm Nigerian. And she came, guess what? She never left. She marks her birthday. In fact, she has a home here in Nigeria and marks her birthday here every year, goes and comes back. So those are stories we need to tell. We have to do it ourselves. The media, civil society, all Nigerians, wherever we are in the world. Like I keep saying, you can criticize me, criticize government officials, but do not bring your country down. By doing that, you're bringing yourself down, bringing all of you down, and it doesn't augur well for anybody.
All right. It looks to me like you think that the media might not be doing enough when it comes to spreading the good, the good story, the good narrative. I wonder what else you want the media to do. It's been reported all over the world, and we keep celebrating it, that Nigerians in America, in the American diaspora, are the best of the diaspora communities in America. We keep highlighting it, but then here you are saying that, oh, media,
no,
you need
Mr. Steve.
Yes, ma'am.
You should have a special program. Wait, I have a special program on Arise. 30 minutes only for celebrating the best of us. You haven't had that, so I'm waiting for you.
All right,
have that program. I've been telling you, have that program specifically celebrating the best in us. NOA is doing something. NOA is showing us, Nigeria made me.
Yes.
It's having its impact. We should have you also doing your own thing. Some channels have programs specifically celebrating the best of us. Yeah, I'm waiting for your Arise.
We'll take to your advice, but let me ask the question, which will be a two-part. You've been asking us to highlight the good story. In more than, I believe, more than 8 years of you being associated, with this, with the organization, as SSA, etc. During Buhari, now with Ashwaju, the president. what will be your standout good story of Nigerians abroad? The standout good story that you think, hey, every time I like to highlight it. But I won't stop there, Auntie Abike. The other part will be, what is the most challenging for you? Will it be when you enter into the foray on Twitter or other social media to defend yourself, and then you get dragged and things like that? Would that be the most challenging for you, or the fact that you are constantly having to defend Nigeria, particularly against this same part of Nigeria that seems to be one of the problems that we just can't ignore when it comes to people who are giving us bad names outside of the country? Okay,
the biggest challenge is funding. We're poorly funded. In 2023 was the worst year, 47 million capital. No, but ours is really bad, 47 million capital. Under this year, we're hoping, we got a bit of better funding, and we're grateful to the National Assembly, Budget Office and all that. So hopefully we will get funds and be able to do a little more, because there's so much we're doing. It involves a lot of engagement. But thanks to technology, we do a lot virtually. You have to think outside the box. So that's the biggest challenge. But again, you can never have enough money, but just support us a bit more rather than having to. There are emergencies. Flights are expensive. You want to get on the plane, you want to do one, but it's okay. For me, don't talk about challenges, just solve the problem, which I'm glad we've been doing in the last 6 years with very limited. We don't even have a befitting office accommodation yet, but let's leave that aside. Now, the Twitter part is the easiest. That one means nothing to me. And I think more public officials should get involved, engage over the social media space. Yes, they'll call you names, but it really doesn't matter. They are not anonymous people are talking to you. It really doesn't matter. But let your voice be heard. Say what you have to say. I'm a media person by training, so I'm not afraid of replying you. But I don't have time a lot of times. But when I do, if it's something that has to do with the job, I'll reply you. Somebody comes and says, his name is, I'm aggressively obedient, avoid me. And you call me a name on Twitter. I can't remember. You call me a name on Twitter, and I reply you. And then people start shouting. Yeah, somebody's name is, I'm aggressively obedient, avoid me. Is he a person? It's a pseudonym. So those who are replying me know the person. And those are things we need to. And I did what I had to do, and that happens. Unfortunately, my Twitter was hacked. So I'm starting again. So it's a bit, but it's okay. I believe that as a public official, I'll reply, because the good is the fact that stories come to you, you can solve them. So ignore the bad part of it. If I have time, I'll answer you till today. But if I don't have time, I might not even see it. I don't read comments. And my advice to others don't bother about comments. Say what you have to say, answer what you have to answer, and then move on. Comments mean nothing. That person commenting has well been paid to write that comment. So don't bother about that. That's my advice to every public official. Or even celebrities. Forget about negative comments. It means nothing. It should mean nothing. And don't overthink them. So that is there. What was the other thing again?
Standout good story.
So all that one is, and then social media is not a real world. It's not a real world. So don't be carried away by that unrealistic world. It should mean nothing, but use it for good. In terms of honestly, we won't end this program.
No, just one. Just one.
The biggest. I'll probably have to show you. I can't tell you one. No, that would be unfair to tell you one.
Okay, let's do it very quickly.
We have over 600.
Okay.
No, that would be unfair, because I may not. There are too many, Steve. There are too many. Every week we're celebrating somebody. We had a lot of Nigerians come home for Diaspora Day this year. Honestly, you'll be proud to be a Nigerian. And I'm saying it today. I've been saying, not because I'm a Nigerian. I don't think there's any country in the world, even the almighty America, that has the quality and capacity of Nigerians anywhere in the world. And that is the truth. So I can't say one. In every sector, is in medicine, technology, computer. The richest immigrants in the world is a Nigerian. So there are so many, exactly, NASA. We have them everywhere. So it would be unfair to the diaspora to mention one, but there are so many. And we will always continue to say, and here's the thing, it's about human capital development. I've been on this job for 6 years, but what I want to see is for Nigeria to ensure that support what we're doing, and it's beginning to happen, to have these Nigerians do things back home. It's not enough succeeding abroad, what are you doing back home? And that is why we introduced the Diaspora Merit Award. So we give those awards to Nigerians who are doing a lot of things back home. They are building hospitals. Right. They are doing medical missions. They are giving back. They are training, capacity building. We just launched the Home and Abroad, which is for Nigerians who want to buy their own home so that you won't be duped. The Minister of Education just launched the Bridge program for those in the STEM world, science, technology, engineering, medicine. Fantastic. Anywhere you are, you want to build capacity, you want to train, you have the platform to do that. And most importantly, you have NiDCOM platform to be able to engage with government. Whatever the problems, we're there. Some we can solve, some we cannot solve, but we are there. At least, most important standout is now Nigerians in diaspora have somewhere to go to. Right. Diaspora issues are now on the front burner, and 11 countries have come to Nigeria to understudy how we engage our diaspora. So now you can't ignore the diaspora. Let's build on it to do what others have done with their human capital that we have all over the world.
All right, Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Erewa, I'd like to thank you very much for your insight, especially with all the work that you've done with NiDCOM. I love this initiative, the Home and Abroad Housing Scheme. I'd have loved to engage you more on that. Also about, the diaspora remittances, and of course, diaspora voting, but that would be a conversation for another time. And you have, set this challenge for me to continue to highlight our good stories. We have a good news report on what's trending, which we do, and I'll continue to engage with you on that. Thank you very much for joining us on the morning show this morning.
I want to also commend you for the good news. I enjoyed that, but I will give you more of the diasporas. I want a 30 minutes program. I will celebrate. But thank you for what you do too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have you on the show again. Thank you so much indeed. Have a good morning.